I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, February the 20th, brought to you in part by New Generation Supplements, makers of Smart Lick. New Generation is celebrating 27 years, founded in 1997 when there were only a handful of supplement or low moisture block manufacturers. They set out to be different. Research-focused supplement manufacturers committed to help ranchers see their herd's full potential. They still stick to that. For more information, go to newgensupplements.com. Also, Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, another big sale for them. They're really glad that they went to 2 sales a week. They're now selling their cows on Wednesday, feeders on Tuesday. They're expecting around 4,800 head of feeders and calves on Tuesday here. I talked to Lane Conkle. He said they'd have 500 to 600 calves, mostly weighing 400 to 600 pounds and mostly all weaned. And then over 4,000 yearlings, guys. And most of those will be in load lots. He said they got a lot of big strings of cattle coming in. That includes calves and yearlings. But on the yearling offering, they're going to have at least 21 load lots of 7 to 9 weight yearling steers. A lot of them will be really top quality, weighing around that 900 pounds there. And then at least 15 loads of 6 to 8 weight yearling heifers. On Wednesday, they'll have 400 to 500 for their cow sale on Wednesday. You can view both of those sales on DVAuction.com. Another record for Joplin. If you remember, just 2 weeks ago on Monday, Joplin Regional Stockyards there in Carthage, Missouri, set an all-time one-day record for receipts of 15,600 plus. That was the biggest sale they'd ever had. They broke that on Monday. They were expecting around 13,500, and they underestimated their run there by quite a bit. Jackie Moore called me there, a good friend of mine, called me from the block on Monday afternoon, and he said, I want you to be sure that you got this right. We've got 16,000 in, and I can see 2 pots backing up to the chute here. So over 16,000 head. Market was on fire, and it's just really amazing the way Joplin has blossomed here of the lake. Of course, they've been a big high volume sale for a long time. But why are they getting even bigger when our numbers of cattle are smaller? There's many reasons why. Because they get the market for cattle. That's probably high up on the list. You're going to get the market for cattle. You take them to Joplin, and that's all you can expect when you take cattle. And when the market's good, you're going to get that. And I've told you many times, people take cattle to the auction that normally don't, but they'll take cattle to the auction when the market's really good and really bad. Well, it's really good right now, and there's more people bringing cattle to auction than is on a steady type year. But what's another reason that Joplin is blossoming so much? Their location. And I've often said they're nestled in between the plains and the Ozarks, right in there. A lot of cattle produced in that 4-state area there. And maybe it's the state-of-the-art facility that they've got there. There's no other stockyard that can compete with Joplin on being up to date and current and having a modern facility there. They can handle that many cattle. Most places couldn't handle that many cattle. They'll handle that many cattle mostly all under roof. Of course, they've got some big traps out back for all those long strings of cattle to get comfortable out there, especially when they come in early there. But the reason that I think maybe that Joplin is getting more cattle than normal in a big auction year here is because of their commission rates. They charge less than $20 commission to sell cattle. And you think, well, that's enough. Well, maybe it is enough, but most of your sales in the Midwest are on a percentage basis. And when cattle are this high, it can get really high to sell cattle. But at Joplin, it costs you the same as it always does. And they do a good job there. Jackie and Bailey and Skylar and the whole team around there, they do a really good job. And I think probably the reason that they're growing so much is because they promote their sale here on the Feeder Flash, and I'm going to stick to that right now. But we appreciate their business at DVAuction. We appreciate their sponsorship of the Feeder Flash, and we support them in every way. Don't forget they got a special cow sale coming up here on Wednesday at 4:30. They'll get most all those cattle loaded out Monday night and Tuesday, and they'll be ready for cows. Have a special cow Wednesday at 4:30. They got a lot of nice bred cows to be offered there on Wednesday. Now Monday we had another free day. It doesn't happen very often, but this time of the year it does. Now we kind of missed out on the last free day because it was during the bad storms there, so we kind of missed out on that. But President's Day was Monday, so the board wasn't going to be messing with your market, and we had such a positive board there on Friday. We got to still hang on to that and enjoy that positive note for your feeder cattle sales on Monday, and boy were they good. I mean, it wasn't just Joplin, it was Oklahoma City, it was all your big sales on Monday. Russell Livestock, Callaway Livestock, and Kingdom City, Missouri, all of them having big sales and doing a great job for their customers. Excuse me. But let's talk about we don't have a board to talk about, so let's talk about the weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle trade. That was fairly disappointing, and we talked about that on our last visit, but a decent movement there. 69,500 negotiated sales in your 5-area feeding region, compares with 64,200 the previous week and 62,700 this same week a year ago. Live sales, fat steers and heifers, sold from 178 to 183 in the 5-area last week. On a negotiated basis, private treaty of course, that was steady to $3 higher. Your weighted average on live steers was 180.35, down 80 cents, and it made up a little bit of ground there on Friday on a little bit of continuation of sales there that were on the positive end, but still down 80 cents on your weighted average compared to the previous week. That was mostly due to a heavier than normal trade in Kansas, which was $2 lower. But your dress sales ranged from 275 to 290. Now, you think 275 is awful low? Yes. There was only 244 heads sold at 275, and then the next lowest price in your 5-area was 283. So really, it could have been steady to $3 higher. But as a whole, your weighted average on dress steers was lower. It was 286.61. That was down 76 cents to the end of the previous week. And nationwide, we sold 88,300. It's a pretty good movement nationwide. 100,000 is great. Moving towards that's pretty good. That compares with 83,100 the previous week, 76,600 the same week a year ago. Your sales that were out front, 15 to 30 days for delivery, there's 22% of those, 19,600 of those. That 22% is more than what we've been seeing for the 15 to 30 day delivery. When that steps up, we're awful worried about packers trying to build supply up and then set the market back. But likely they have the right to not take those cattle for 15 to 30 days. But a lot of them will end up being taken earlier than that. Negotiated grid sales added up to 37,600. We had another big week last week of forward contracts because your board's up and the market's going up and things are looking good going forward. But 82,800 forward contracts last week. Formula sales 273,800. Of the 4 out of the 5 major feeding areas that we get information from, on a negotiated basis, Iowa sold 26,800, Nebraska sold 21,000, Kansas almost 17,000. So like I told you, that was a big mover there in Kansas. We don't normally see that many. Texas 4,800. Box beef cutout values were higher to start the week out on Monday. Excuse me. $297.09. That was up 89 cents on your choice cuts. Select's up 74 cents at $287.40. Your slaughter, though, disappointing to start out the week. I don't think it had anything to do with President's Day. These packers are just really wanting to pull back on the change speeds because these cattle are getting high, and supposedly they're in the red ink. So only 104,000. That's 9,000 less than last week. A good week, or a good day to start out the week would have been 125,000. So 104 is pretty disappointing there. Talk about what else is going on. Your night latch group, that's out of Laverne, Oklahoma, guys. That's Andy and Codell Cunningham, and they're big on the livestock gross margin policies. And a lot of your other risk management marketers aren't really into that, but they have found a way that makes it work for their customers. Call them, get a hold of them, see what their plan is for the livestock gross margin policies to hold your cattle price up and your feed costs down. For more information, go to nightlatch.net. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DVAuction. Late in the day on Monday, sitting at 243.56, up 59 cents with all those high volume sales in the Southern Plains, guys. Very impressive. Of course, CME Cash Feeder Cattle Index is still sitting where it was because they were closed up on Monday, but that was 244.58. You guys notice I've got some sunburn going there on my face, and many of you figured I probably had a case of the red ass on Monday, and maybe I did, but this was on the wrong end. The way that I got this was I was videoing bulls all day in Tucumcari, New Mexico, at the New Mexico Livestock, or the New Mexico State University's bull test station there. And it was like a beautiful summer day there, and hardly any wind. I'm not lying to you. Tucumcari, New Mexico, hardly a breath of wind there. Bright sunshine, warm temperatures. It was a great day there. They had about 150 bulls to video. I thought sure we would get through them, but take this as a note for you guys that that have video pins. They had put a load of fresh, soft sand in the video pin because it had been kind of muddy around, and they didn't want that video pin being muddy. When each of those bulls got let into the video pin, they thought they were going into a sandbox, and they were feeling good, and they were happy, and all they wanted to do was waller in that sand and rub their necks in it and kick it up over their head, and they wooled us around all day long. Only got 120 of those bulls videoed. Got to go back on Tuesday and finish up. But let's talk about your big commercial feeder cattle sales on Monday. Now I've got a case of the stock show crud too, if you guys can't tell it. How about Joplin Regional Stockyards? Over 16,000. Impressive. The mid-session call from the Federal State Market Reporter there was steers steady to $10 higher, heifers $3 to $15 higher. They were your NationalBeefWire stick-out sale of the day. This is the market in the lower Midwest, guys. 876 head of 4-weight steers, average 455, weighted average price 309.61. 1,748 head of 5-weight steer calves, average 553 at 297.14. There was 1,930 head of 6-weight steers in Joplin. They averaged 647 with a weighted average price of 267.02. 2,078 head of 7-weight steers, averaged 743 at 244.58. And 1,609 head of 8-weight steers in Carthage, Missouri at Joplin Regional Stockyards, averaged 851 with a weighted average price on all of them, good, bad, and ugly, of 231.99. How about the heifers? 929 head of 4-weight heifers, averaged 456 at 282.65. 1,568 head of 5-weight heifer calves, averaged 547 at 262.22. There were 1,817 head of 6-weight heifers. They averaged 643 at 241.99, and over 1,400 head of 7-weight heifers at Joplin Regional Stockyards, averaged 738 pounds with a weighted average price of $228.15. Big sale in the city. Oklahoma National Stockyards had 12,000 head. Really good sale for them. Feeders sold fully steady. Calves were called $2 to $5 higher. I saw an impressive quote on some middleweight steers there. 83 steers weighed 616 and bring 318. Some other individual quotes. How about Sugar Valley Stockyards in Gearing, Nebraska? They sell 55 steers weighed 679 at 289. Very impressive. But the most impressive quotes that I saw anywhere on Monday in your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day come out of Elgin Livestock Sales in Elgin, Nebraska. My buddy Ted Baum gave me the heads up on there. He had two quotes in there and I couldn't decide which one's the top quote, so I'm going to let you guys go. First I'm going to tell you about 110 steers weighed 1013 and bring 225.50. If that doesn't blow your skirt up, how about 77 steers weighed 815 at 258.5? And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.